So warm welcome, everybody. We're so glad and grateful that each of you chose to be here today for our 2023 B Academics Global Roundtable. We're over the moon that so many people are joining us here on Zoom. And also, we're elated that folks are gathered together in person at our hybrid event locations in Dallas, Chicago, Athens, Georgia, and Raleigh, North Carolina. So I'd like to begin by thanking our organizing committee, Jessica Thomas, our B Academics co-founder and executive director, Rachel Haynes, our director of operations, Summer Brown, our president, and Sahili Nath, our vice chair of the Teaching and Curriculum Innovations Committee, for all going above and beyond to make today's event possible. And also to our committee in general who've been working on planning, coordinating each of the sessions and logistics for today's event: Nathan, Randy, Jake, Raven, Alice, Adrian, Jen, and Maya, for all of their help. And on behalf of the organizing committee and the entire B Academics board, I'd like to thank each of you for taking precious time out of your busy lives to join us today to share and collaborate around how we can best create opportunities for students to learn about business as a force for good. So my first boss and mentor was a social entrepreneur, and she ran a program focused on empowering youth. And she often said something that's really stuck with me. She said, there's something really magical that happens when we come together with others with the intention of making a positive impact in the world. What we end up creating is far bigger than the sum of our individual efforts. It's exponentially bigger and more powerful than what we could have ever imagined creating on our own. And that's what's happening here today. We couldn't be more excited and grateful that each of you chose to show up and be part of the magic that we're creating here together. So I'm sure we've all been on countless Zoom events by now, and I'm just going to offer a few logistical reminders. First is we'd love for you to use the chat feature. Members of the Academics Board are here today to help facilitate discussion in the chat. And we also ask that if you have questions, we would love for you to, instead of asking them in the chat, to use the Q&A feature. That can help us to best keep track of your questions and make sure they all get answered. We also welcome you to keep your video on for a sense of connection and community, but we respect you might not be in a place that you can do that, and that's okay too. Want to remind you all that this event is being recorded, and a recording will be available later. And if you don't want to be included in the recording, then make sure to leave your video off. Out of respect for everybody's time and personal needs, we're not going to be having breaks. So if you need to use restroom or take care of yourself, you're welcome to hop off to do that, and we'll see you when you come back. And lastly, we encourage you to use the event guide, both during and after today's event. It's a plethora of resources, thanks to Rachel and our team for collaborating to compile everything there. I've seen that the link is in the chat right now. So without further ado, it's an honor and joy for me to introduce Jessica Thomas, our fabulous founder, powerhouse past president, and now excellent executive director of B Academics.
I am actually going to hand it to Summer. I will be back with you all very shortly, though, but Summer's going to take it from here.
No worries. Oh, there we go. Can you mute, please?
Or I can take this while Summer, you handle audio. I would like to add my welcome. My name is Jessica Thomas. I'm one of the co-founders of B Academics and the current executive director. And as Kristen just shared, in the guys community, we would love to hear more about everybody who was on the call and joining us here today. So as we introduce ourselves, we would love for you to introduce yourselves as well in the chat. And so if you would please share your name, your preferred pronouns, the organization that you're representing today, if you would like, your role at that organization, and the location that you're joining us from. I know when I saw the registrations roll in, It looks like we have people from around the world who are joining us to be a part of this conversation. And so we are absolutely delighted to have you all joining us and excited to see you sharing your introductions in the chat. So please go ahead and start sharing those.
Can we try this one more?
And I'll see if Summer wants to pick it up from here. Otherwise, I can keep going.
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Summer.
Awesome. All right.
Yes.
Yay. Figured it out. Okay. Sorry, folks. There's a lot of things happening at once. Welcome. I apologize for all of this. My name is Summer Brown. I'm the president of B Academics. I am also a faculty member at DePaul University. I'm the director of the Institute for Business and Professional Ethics here as well. I wanted to run through a couple of quick slides here to get us going. First, this is our agenda in front of us. It's going to be a bit of a long day, so please don't worry about whether you need to step away, go to the bathroom, grab a bite to eat. It's all good. I'm going to tell you a little bit about B Academics here in a moment, and then we're going to get into the B Impact team's kind of ecosystem. I know that's a big question that a lot of folks have had, especially if you weren't in our webinar that was just a little bit ago. We are going to have some breakout opportunities in our roundtable discussion to get a little bit deeper into some of these questions. And then we will move into the keynote with Ryan Honeyman, which should be really exciting. And then we'll close and kind of give some next steps. All right, you can move to the next slide, please. Right, so if you were here at the webinar earlier, I apologize if this is a little bit redundant for you, but for many of you, you were not. So I wanted to just share that B Academics is a network with over 2,400 academics, students, practitioners. We're growing every day, and it's been an exciting kind of time to be a part of this organization. We just recently relaunched our website, which is looking fancy and shiny, but the most important bit is that it has over 600 teaching, research, and engagement resources on there that we've painstakingly kind of searched for, tagged, made searchable, made it a lot more user-friendly, and we continue to update that. And so we encourage, if you all have research or resources that you want to share, please, you can do that on our website, and we'll be sure to add that to our repository. We also have representation from over 796 institutions from 67 countries. So we're certainly a global organization, and we're trying to represent everybody's perspective here. Next slide, please. Great. So this is just a quick slide to talk a little bit about some of our strategic priorities as an organization. I'm not going to go into this too deeply, but I did want to point out that teaching and curriculum innovation is one of our lights are going off, is one of our big focuses as an organization. And we hope each year try to focus on having a teaching roundtable, a research roundtable, and then kind of a joint in-person event that we will be doing in Vancouver this year in partnership with the Champions Retreat. But you'll see that we also prioritize Be Local engagement, which we have several representatives from Be Locals around the country, which is fantastic. Student engagement, membership engagement. So hopefully this event is hitting a lot of those check marks. Next slide, please. Ooh, okay, it's a little harder to see. If you can go back one slide. You're on event sponsors. Okay. Well, we'll skip that, which is that I was just showing you a quick video or a picture of our board of directors, and we are proud to have representation from around North America, but also from Spain and Argentina and Chile, and we also have representation from a couple of students from Duke University, and so we definitely are trying to be a global organization in that regard. I wanted to thank quickly our event sponsors. You can see those universities represented here. Obviously, I'm with DePaul there. Jessica's with NC State. We, of course, have representation from University of Georgia, Walden University, University of York, and then Beneficial State Bank. All right, with that, hopefully that was quick enough. Let me hand it over to Jessica to get us back on track.
All right, thank you so much, Summer, for those introductions. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your introductions in the chat. And I could not go back to our board slide, but I just want to say a big thank you to all of our board of directors members for their incredible contribution to this organization. As I mentioned, my name is Jessica Inka Thomas. I'm the executive director of B Academics. I'm really excited to be joining you all here from Raleigh Founded, which is a certified B Corporation here on NC State's campus. Which is actually the very first project that we worked on in our B Impact team, our B Corp clinic here at NC State. So I'm really excited that we helped to certify. So I'm really excited to be joining you from Raleigh Founded. I wanted to start out with our purpose, our goals in bringing this global community together around this building the B Impact team's ecosystem. And so our goal for today's roundtable is really to build connection across the B Impact community, the students, faculty, coaches, B Corps, B consultants, representatives from B Lab, people across the B Impact ecosystem to connect you. And also to gather input from you that can inform our work as B Academics in supporting the B Impact team's ecosystem and supporting building and growing B Impact teams around the world. And really this ongoing journey of really helping to build and connect this broad ecosystem in support of B Impact teams. So I'm really thankful for you all to be here today and really excited about today's conversation. And so we've got 4 different in-person locations joining us today. And so I want to give everybody a chance to give a shout out from each of those in-person locations. And I know we had over 160 people register to participate in this conversation virtually. So as we do the shout outs from all the different locations, I want to encourage the virtual participants on the call to share some emojis and to participate in the shares. Just tell us how you're feeling today. So share an emoji in Zoom, and we're going to go through and do quick shout outs from each of the different locations. So as I mentioned, I'm here at Raleigh Founded on NC State's campus. And so I want to give our NC State folks a chance to say hi. And then we'll hand it over to DePaul for a quick hi from the team at DePaul.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, DePaul. We're going to hand it over to UGA for a quick hi from the UGA team.
Hi. Nobody did the wave with me.
Hey, everybody.
Hi. Hi, UGA, welcome. And then our Dallas College team. A hi from the folks over at Dallas College.
Hello.
Howdy.
Howdy, right? Howdy.
Welcome, welcome. So thank you so much for engaging in this experiment, this hybrid experiment of ours. So welcome everybody joining us in person. Welcome everyone joining us over Zoom. We're delighted to have you to participate in this conversation around building the B Impact team's ecosystem. So we just had a 90-minute webinar on the B Impact team's model. But if you're not yet familiar with B Impact teams, well, hopefully you know a little bit about B Impact teams if you're joining us for this conversation. But this is an innovative experiential learning model connecting teams of students with companies that are at different stages on the B Impact assessment around consulting projects to really embed social and environmental impact into a company's business model. We at B Academics have identified 29 different B Impact teams around the world, and you should have there a link to a landing page that gives you more information about this B Impact teams model, as well as a directory of 10 of the current operating B Impact teams. We've engaged over 1,000 students around the world in this B Impact teams model on over 300 projects with, again, companies across industries, from startups to multinationals, and really using the B Impact assessment as a framework to drive impact and really connecting and supporting the broader movement of business as a force for good. And so to illustrate this B Impact Teams model, I wanted to give two of our colleagues who run B Impact Teams an opportunity to share with you two different versions of this B Impact Teams model to get a better sense of how these programs run. And so I'll start with Kristen Joyce over at UF, who's going to share with us an overview of the Business for Good Lab.
Hi again. As Jessica mentioned, I run the Business for Good Lab at the University of Florida. So I've been teaching about B corporations since I first heard of them around 2006. And in 2008, I began devoting a day of my Introduction to Social Entrepreneurship courses to discussing B corporations. And as the movement grew, so did the amount of time allocated in my classes. So a day became a week, became a unit. And in 2012, we did our first consulting projects, helping 2 businesses to complete the BIA. And then in spring 2014, we launched an entire course focused on learning about certified B corporations. It was called Innovation and Sustainability, Business Doing Good. At the time, which was nearly a decade ago, I couldn't find other faculty who were teaching courses entirely focused on certified B corporations. All I could find were a few law school courses focused on benefit corporations and their legalities. So I continued offering the course at least once a year for grad students between 2014 and 2018, and then along the way added an undergraduate section. And then in summer 2018, I connected with both B Academics and Florida for Good. And shortly thereafter, I became the chair of teaching curriculum innovation for B Academics and director of impact strategy and senior advisor for academic partners for Florida for Good. So by 2018, I had been teaching courses on B Corps for years, and students were helping prospective B Corps with the BIA, but I hadn't structured an entire course around the student consulting teams. And there was a lot of other content, and there were a lot of moving parts and pieces. And then when I met Jessica and learned of the B Corp clinic at the B Academics Roundtable in 2018, I realized how ingenious her program was. And I decided to pivot the course that I was teaching and launch a pilot in spring of 2019 that was aligned with her model. So I took her B Impact Team in a Box workshop where she shared all of the resources and the tips and the tools needed to be successful. And nearly 5 years later, here at UF today, we are still using that model, and we've had a number of, I guess, successes is shown on this slide. So 40 students have come through our model, and they've consulted with 62 companies. Most are Florida for Good members, and 22 of those companies are founded by UF graduates. We've had 43 of those teams score over 80 points, which is the minimum needed to go through the evaluation and verification process with B Lab to become certified. And altogether, our students have volunteered over 12,000 hours, creating more than $350,000 of value for Florida businesses. So much of our success is credit to our close collaboration and partnership with Florida for Good, which is our B Local. And you'll be hearing more about the importance of those collaborations as we talk today. So in the interest of time, I'll pause there and pass it to Alice, who will be sharing about the fabulous program she runs in New Mexico.
Hello, everyone. My name's Alice Main. I am a recent graduate and now instructor of our version of the B Impact Team, which is the Business for Good consulting clinic based in Albuquerque, New Mexico, at the University of New Mexico. So I think I'm on the other end of the spectrum where we just started to launch this program. So this coming semester is going to be our 3rd iteration of this clinic. what I think is unique about how we launch is we had very little built-in infrastructure to actually launch this course. So we really started with a professor who's really dedicated to researching, social innovation within business. He knew about certified B Corps. He's really loves research and is doing a really great job of keeping tabs on everything. So he, found B Academics and was really interested in implementing this course, but given his role, he didn't have any time to actually allocate to developing a course and teaching it. So what he did is he allowed me as a student to take the B Impact Teams in a Box course with through B Academics with Jessica. And I was able to adapt all the materials to our UNM branding, set everything up, create promotional material, et cetera, et cetera. So he and I co-led this course as a pilot in 2021. So it's kind of the lean startup version of this. We don't have a Be Local chapter or a formalized group that you'll see a lot of other programs having where they could partner. So we really utilize this course as not only as it's intended, which is to engage students in this incredible opportunity, but also to build community. So we really focused on bringing in our small B Corp community to engage with students and share best practices, and then kind of have a broader public event at the end of the year where we really try to broadcast all the amazing things that are happening within our state. So kind of a bit of hopefully the seed that's being planted for broader engagement within our state. But we really use this course as that mechanism. And we started off with some startups, which was challenging. But we're really iterated and adapted our course to really meet the needs of our students and our business community. So we, for example, we put in some skill building at the beginning of the course to really help the students learn some client management skills, and then built in a few things around accountability. But I'd be more than happy to chat more about what we do at UNM Anderson. But for the interest of time, I'm going to pass it back to Jessica. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Kristen. Thank you, Alice, for sharing those two different examples of B Impact Teams. And so I think it's really helpful, hopefully, for folks to get a sense of the broad range of different approaches to this model. I think from a teaching perspective, that's one of the things that makes it particularly compelling, is there is really this core concept around the B Impact Teams, which is really connecting students with companies on consulting projects to drive impact, but really using the vision of the B Corp movement as inspiration for our students, right? This idea of business as a force for good, for inspiration for our students to really think about, right, the power and potential that they can have when they go off into the workforce, and how they can use the skills that they develop in a course like this to help them prepare them to be change makers, but also the B Impact assessment tool itself as a really comprehensive, transparent, rigorous assessment tool that's designed as a teaching tool for companies, and that can play a similar role in a curricular or co-curricular program, and really providing a roadmap to help students work with companies through that impact improvement process. And so for our conversation today, we really want to bring together and build and support this B Impact Teams ecosystem. And this is just kind of my first attempt at mapping this out, what this might look like. But we want to really leave the most of the time for today for a conversation, for some roundtable discussions to bring together. And we're fortunate to have here at NC State, at our different locations across the country, and represented, participating virtually, representatives from faculty, students, B locals, B Corps, alumni from our program, coaches from our program, representatives from B Lab, and companies that are interested in working with us through these B Impact Teams to bring you all together for a conversation on how we as B Academics can be a resource in building the community, can be a resource in aggregating tools and resources in support of B Impact teams, and can develop programs for this B Impact teams ecosystem to support our broader vision as B Academics to transform higher education for good by studying B Corps, benefit corporations, and the business as a force for good movement. And so here we are going to jump into the first of two breakout roundtable discussions. And so this first one will focus on how can we, as the B Impact Teams ecosystem, how can we build the resources needed to help launch and grow and scale B Impact teams globally. And so what we're going to do, let me see, we're actually going to stop this timer if I can stop it. Okay. All right, we're not going to start the timer yet. But what we're going to do is we are going to have 5 different breakout rooms. For this first round of breakout rooms, you can self-select into these breakout rooms, whichever conversation you want to be a part of. And so even though you might, you don't have to be a student to be in the student breakout room, you don't have to be a faculty member to be in the faculty breakout room, or be community representative to be in that breakout room. But we've got here a list of structured questions for these breakout rooms. We've got some fantastic facilitators who will be facilitating these conversations. And so we encourage you to select the room and the set of questions that you would most like to discuss and the conversation you would most like to be engaged with. We know we have a lot of faculty on the call today. So we've got 3 different rooms for the faculty conversation. So we encourage you to distribute yourselves across these 3 different rooms. And Rachel Haynes, our operations director for B Academics, might have to redistribute you. So if you get moved to a different room, don't worry. But we are going to go ahead, if we haven't yet, Rachel. Okay. We are going to go ahead. Oh, turn the, yeah, just, okay. We're going to go ahead and open up the breakout rooms. And for those of you who are joining us in person, at the 4 locations in person, we know you've got a mix of different representatives, so we encourage you to select from among these questions, the ones that you feel are most representative of the conversation you'd like to have at those in-person locations. So I'm gonna restart the timer here. And go ahead and encourage folks to, again, jump into those breakout rooms. And Rachel's going to give us a 2-minute warning to come back into the main room. So we'll be recording those breakout rooms, and we're really looking forward to getting your feedback and your input on these questions about how we can better build the resources in support of B Academics. All right, I think folks are slowly rejoining. I think we're closing out all the different breakout rooms. And folks are rejoining the main conversation. Welcome back. All right. Rachel, do we have everybody back from the breakout rooms?
Yes, we do.
All right, excellent. Well, welcome back. Thank you so much for that first round of conversation around building the resources. Thank you to our facilitators who helped to structure those conversations. We're really excited to listen through the recordings and most importantly, to test out AI, to see how AI analyzes the results, the transcript of those recordings, and then of course to do our own analysis as well. But really thank you for everybody joining us in person, everybody in the virtual rooms for engaging that conversation, sharing that input with us. We are going to move into a second round of breakout discussions. And this is much more focused on building the community in support of B Impact teams. So here again, we've got some suggested structured conversations for the in-person conversations, for the breakout rooms. This time, we're going to do breakout rooms randomly. So again, we'll have 5 different breakout rooms with 5 facilitators and teams of facilitators. But Rachel is going to send us into random breakout rooms this time for a broader conversation around building the community. So we're going to go ahead. I see Rachel's already opened up those breakout rooms. So invite you to go ahead and join those breakout rooms, and I will start the clock again here. We'll have another 20 minutes for this second round of discussion. Thanks again to everyone, and we will go ahead and get the second round started. All right.